RFK Jr. is getting what he wanted all along. He could soon be the head of HHS. I'm not ready to say it's a lock. He is insane. And Donald Trump spent literally months telling all of his followers that RFK Jr. was not only an idiot, but also an extremist and a major lefty. So it's sort of weird that he's nominating him. But instead of blaming Donald Trump, the guy who chose him for HHS, one individual, Meghan McCain, is blaming the Democrats. She said RFK Jr. is going to be HHS as a direct result of Democrats and Fauci blatantly lying to mothers in this country, putting our children second behind adults and radicalizing them during COVID. And there's a lot of insanity there. So she's making a direct causal link to, she believes insane stuff about COVID and vaccines or whatever it is. And so as a result of that, back in 2020, Trump had to choose RFK Jr. to be his secretary of HHS. Look, Meghan McCain has occasionally been willing to be critical of Donald Trump, but I'm wondering if this is a sign that she knows now that's not going to work for her as a conservative. Maybe she needs to start to be an apologist for Donald Trump to be relevant on the right, because that's insane in so many different ways. And I do want to let people know about what RFK Jr. might do as head of HHS, because again, it's another important department, affects the health and well-being of a lot of people. So it oversees the approval and distribution of vaccines and the public messaging about them. So look, she seems to be admitting there that could be imperiled with him as head of HHS. But you'll notice she's not nearly as critical of him or Trump as the Democrats. So if you think he'll be bad in the topic of vaccines, maybe now, Meghan McCain, is a time to speak out against him. It's not doing that. Anyway, it has a budget of $1.8 trillion, more than any other cabinet agency, including the Department of Defense. Obviously, that has to do with Medicare, Medicaid, those sorts of things. It oversees the CDC and the FDA and negotiation of prices for certain expensive drugs in Medicare. And so, look, you already know a lot about RFK Jr., but he has previously said that the FDA had engaged in aggressive suppression of psychedelics, peptides, stem cells, raw milk, hyperbaric therapies, chelating compounds, ivermectin, hydroxychloroquine, vitamins, clean foods. Everyone knows the FDA is constantly trying to kill clean foods. Sunshine, exercise, and nutraceuticals. He has continued to claim that vaccines are tied to autism because of his willful misreading of the scientific literature of the last few decades. I don't want to go on with all of it. Like he believes in everybody. Here's what everybody does, and then we'll rope you in. Yes, I apologize. He says, "Hey, we should eat clean foods," and everyone's like, "Oh, I agree with that." And then he says a whole bunch of whack nonsense, and people come out of that thinking, "Oh, it's balanced." That's not how that works. You should, like, as a bare minimum, anyone involved with HHS should say, yes, people should eat more fruits and vegetables. That's not a mark in their favor. That's the bar already being buried beneath the surface of the earth. And then he does all of this extra stuff. And we're supposed to consider that we're getting like the good with the bad. No, the bare minimum is not balanced by the fact that he's going to be perhaps outlawing vaccines or God knows what else, fluoride. And we've covered a lot of different topics in this area about him, Yaz. What do you make of this? And do you think that he might actually end up entering the administration?
I mean, I think there's a good shot of it at this point, right? We know that as soon as he dropped out of the presidential race, he endorsed Trump, and there was all this talk about, that they were in cahoots with each other for a lot longer than what we perceived to see. But, it is crazy, right? And I will say, I did not know that the government was aggressively suppressing our access to the sun. Like, I didn't know that, right? Like, maybe it's like part of some big conspiracy about how dermatologists are always telling white people to wear sunblock so that they, won't age horribly or get cancer. Maybe it's all a hoax. I don't know. Also, peptides. I did not know that the government was also aggressively suppressing peptides. I use them every night. The government doesn't get in my way. I didn't buy them off of a black market or anything like that. So it really is very, very strange, all these things that he's coming out with. And yes, we need to be healthier as a country. We are one of the most unhealthy countries in the world, if not the most unhealthy. And we're only getting worse because our food supply is crap. We have all kinds of things in our food supply that are banned in European countries or it's not allowed over here. So we are nutrient deficient. We do have like very high obesity rates here in this country. Yeah, we need to eat more fruits and vegetables. Of course, we need to do these things. Of course, there's like basic things that we need to do so that we can be healthier as a society. But Americans are notoriously very, very, individualistic when it comes to these things, right? They don't want the government telling them how to eat or how to exercise or how to live or anything like that. And on top of that, even if we wanted to get more exercise, what does that mean? We all need gym memberships. There's nowhere for us to go walking. That's not like our lifestyles and the way that we have built our society is not conducive to healthy living. So if we want to be healthier as a society, we need much bigger infrastructural changes to this
Yeah.
country. It's not going to happen just by telling people to buy and eat more fruits and vegetables because produce is expensive, especially today. And a lot of people still live in what they call food deserts, where they just don't have access to fresh produce and things like that.
Yeah.
So
Well,
that's one thing. I mean, there's so much to be said on this topic.
yeah, look, obviously, I think produce is too expensive, but don't worry, Donald Trump has a plan on that. Prices
Yeah.
will plummet for fresh produce when he deports lots of people working in that industry.
In the
Also, the
farms,
price of
yeah.
houses will definitely plummet when he gets rid of people disproportionately
Mhm.
likely to serve in construction. Anyway, none of this makes any sense. Let's just be clear about that. And you brought up a great point about the individualism and all that. So does the right like this RFK Jr. stuff? Because every other time a prominent American has called for people to eat healthier, they've lost their mind.
Yes.
Michelle
Yeah.
Obama, how dare you push for healthier foods in schools? And Bloomberg even with like, hey, like maybe we shouldn't be selling people 40-ounce sodas. How dare you? Get
Do you
liberals who are like
remember how
implying,
they Well, I was gonna say, do you remember how they freaked out when Cory Booker was just said he was a vegan, right?
yeah,
He didn't say anything about like everyone should be a vegan.
no,
And Fox News lost their mind saying, like, oh, I'm gonna eat my cheeseburgers. And it's like nobody was trying to make
exactly.
you give up your cheeseburgers, bro.
And liberals just implying that we could maybe eat less meat they freak out about. Well, RFK Jr. is criticizing Donald Trump's consumption of meats and saturated fats and all that. So
Cheeseburgers.
do you like this stuff or not? I'm super confused. What it
Mhm.
seems, it seems like just partisanship. They were convinced that I guess I like RFK Jr. because that'll help Donald Trump win. So there must be some reason I like RFK Jr. and I don't want to admit to the anti-vax stuff. So I guess it's his stuff on food, but you guys have never liked that before.
Yeah.
Partisanship is a hell of a drug. Members make a difference here at TYT. You help make the show happen, and we see you in the chat with your loyalty badge. Click the join button to become a member today.